Hello, everyone. This is Jenna McClelland here to talk about her favorite topic of choice, circumcision. It has been a pretty long time since I have come on to connect just me and to share my learnings and to show you who I have evolved into since I guess I debuted the original series. It was April 2024, and then came out pretty intensely September 11th, actually, last year. And so much has happened in my life since then. I have gone through the most transformational metamorphosis to date. The most challenging time of my life truly has been ever since I last filmed. And not to say that it is a negative. I deeply believe that our successes in the failures, our successes in the pits of hell, truly, when we experience that rawness, when we can allow ourselves just to fall and surrender to the ebb and the flow of life. And that is exactly what I have been moving through. If you are new to my content, new to my page, welcome. I'm so thrilled and so happy that you are here and that you made it. I'm Jenna. For those of you who are familiar with me and my story, I was already in the sexual wellness space, working specifically and only with women until I had a dream that changed my life, a dream that came to me when it was 2 days before my 36th birthday. And I witnessed a newborn being circumcised in a medical setting. And I had absolutely no idea what to do with that information. Luckily, I had already known about circumcision in 2020. I went through one of my biggest awakenings, and circumcision was one of the topics that fell into my lap. I always knew there was something wrong with it. I always knew that there was a disconnect. I always thought it was weird. The first two men that I was ever, or boys, I was ever intimate or sexual with when, in the very beginning of my adolescence or, my young adult teenage years, right, were uncut, were intact. And I had nothing was wrong with it. Everything was mechanical and worked well. And I still thought it was beautiful. I don't remember this specific piece of skin standing out in any particular way that needed to be removed, that needed to be aesthetically better. I didn't. And so, yeah, this dream changed my life. And I ended up walking away from a marriage that was not, unfortunately, fulfilling to me. And I still love my ex-husband. He and I still have a very beautiful relationship. It was actually a very amicable ending, and we have closed the chapter beautifully. And I've learned so much through that marriage, so much through that container. And sometimes the alignment when you go into other categories of life, or your values change, or you have a dream where you see a baby get circumcised, right? Like, it can really change the trajectory of your life and meaning. And a lot of meaning all of a sudden came into my life. I have never felt this amount of gratitude. I have never felt this amount of honor when it comes to being of service for men, when it comes to being of service to humanity, and when it comes to holding reverence for the archetypal divine masculine and how God originally designed him. And to live in a state of honor every day is a new way of being that has lifted me into so much beauty, so much curiosity, and so much, like, I guess curiosity is going to be the best way that I could go about it, because I am just so curious about what my spirit and what my soul can explore? What evolution can I experience spiritually? How can I use my own spiritual gifts as a way to inspire the light, to rather than this idea of whistleblowing or exposure? In what way can I be a vessel, a channel of God? And through this curiosity and through this deep devotion and dedication, I have actually really truly been channeling some profound information and some profound healing. And it has become known to me very well from every cell in my body that I am a vessel of the Divine Mother who is here to nurture and here to offer a type of love and wisdom that a lot of men are currently missing in their life. If you have had a circumcision, most of the time, if not all the time, it just depends. The wound is so deep because of the connection between the masculine and the feminine and the mother and the son. That is a very special, special dynamic. And when he is cut, that will hijack this bond, this deep understanding of what it is to be in relation with the opposite sex, in relation to polarity, and how we can maximize our abilities within our own polarity container and experience the contrast, experience what it's like to see another in this beautiful alternate energy. And so because on this 3D physical realm and moving beyond the veil from the fertile void, right, from heaven, from the stars, and moving through the birth canal into the physical, and the physical mother on some level will not truly be able to offer these men the healing that they need because the wound is so deep. And the remedy is a archetypal, is the divine mother, is the place that he was prior to entering into the 3D, because it is so soon, because it is at the origin of his the origin of his experience. It becomes nearly impossible to fully heal this wound without the mother that he had spiritually prior to coming here, if that makes sense. So since the dream, since leaving, I was living in North Carolina with my ex-husband. Since leaving and coming back to Texas, I have been in training, deep training, training for myself, training for my understanding of my gifts, training to develop these gifts, training to understand how I can be more of service. I have been in school. I was at a somatic sexology course that I completed this summer. Everything that I do is to wake up and to be here. And I will repeat myself in saying the amount of honor that I have in my heart, in my body, in my cells, in my soul is a level I never experienced that I would have. And to devote my life to circumcision, I'm just so excited to see what else is on the way. And since I haven't really done a recap, since it hasn't just been me and you connecting, I wanted to just follow up and connect and let you know that I am still here and I still deeply care. And the passion inside of me, that fire is growing continuously, and it will not stop. I will die on this mountain being sure that people can feel and see the light here. The transformation that I've experienced has gone from, feeling all the full spectrum of emotions that we all experience in our awakening to circumcision. It's anger, it's rage, it's confusing, it's heartbreaking. It doesn't make sense. You are dumbfounded on every layer. And what makes it so challenging is the level of of energy, the amount of time sorry, I always get so emotional, that has been put into this brainwashing is so sophisticated in its own way. And I'm getting emotional because of the mind control that people believe this is something that is okay. This is something that we should do. This is something that we should be grateful for. This is something that you don't talk about. This is something that must be repressed. And to think about the amount of men that are walking around having been cut, completely unaware of what has happened to them. You know, at times I just think, if that's where they're at, that's where they're at. I'm not going to force and throw trauma at them. I will hold space. I will hold space for the inner child. I will hold space that there is one day they will wake up to their healing journey, whether circumcision is a part of it or not, because circumcision is creating a huge wedge in our culture and preventing the masculine and the feminine from truly having that balance. And I think that perhaps the balance is necessary for us to awaken even deeper, to come together and to realize our power and potential when we are healthy, when we are in reverence for one another, and there aren't any agendas that are preventing the deep connection that is available and beautiful within the masculine and the feminine dynamic and relationship. And getting into back into me having to evolve and feeling that rage and letting that dark collie, that dark fire that's in me. Because if you know me, if you've been following, you know, very passionate woman, extremely passionate. And I love that about myself. I love that I'm passionate. I love that I love. I love that I feel. And I love that I've been chosen for this work. I really do. And having mentors and people that see me, when there has been many months in my life recently where I haven't had that, has been so healing. So through these relationships, through these souls that have entered my life, I have begun to understand the ways of going about exposure, but it not necessarily being through the lens of exposure. I don't know how to say that. Let me say that differently so it makes a little bit more sense. Like, I have to turn the light on, and people are going to attack me and they're going to attack you when we attack them. When we say, you know, you're a rapist, you're harming children, they're becoming sexually abused. Yes, to all of these things. But how can we communicate? How can we articulate ourselves in a way that allows a light in them to turn on by bringing like, I don't know how to explain it because I'm still actually honestly figuring it out. My mind wants to take me into all the reason, into all the logic, into all the data, into the research, into remembering which study was this and what's the title of that and how much cortisol is being released, you know, like, and I have to get into my heart. And so probably the best way to say this is being more in my heart and realizing that the perpetrators of circumcision are actually being controlled and governed by another force. And that force that they are being controlled by is their own individual trauma. Trauma turns into an archetype. And these archetypes can actually keep us stuck in timelines. It can keep us stuck in realities where it is convincing us that we can't show it bigger. It's showing us that the power of indoctrination, right? Like it's just believing in other sources of fictitious false god ideologies or false god scientific data, whatever that may be. People are being controlled by an invisible criminal, which is their own trauma. And it's hard to separate the individual from some woo-woo energy archetype that is controlling them. Like, for example, I've had some men that don't even know me. They know of me. They are friends of people that I'm friends with, and they see my stuff, and they will start talking bad about me and saying things about me that aren't even true, like as if they know my life, as if they know who I am, in order to protect that inner child, the child that was castrated, the child that was circumcised. The archetype has to protect itself, and it keeps the inner child from actually seeing the light, seeing that there might be something here, because the archetype doesn't want us to heal. And that's what makes healing such an adventure and so challenging at times, is because these archetypes that are created are toxic identities that we have that really aren't real. And we convince ourselves through our psychology that this is who we are. So when I hear of a man or a woman sharing or talking about me on the streets and saying certain things about who I may be, I know that because it's not true, that's not them. That is just the archetype that is protecting their inner child and keeping them from truly seeing the light. Because it's almost like they're the protectors. They don't want to go away, right? Because we've created this other part of ourselves. And just to kind of give you an example of how trauma can evolve, and how trauma can make us do things that we otherwise wouldn't do. And part of our journey is recognizing that and realizing that, oh shit, like I've got to take radical responsibility for some of these horrible things that I've done in my life. I've done them, and really demolish or dissolve these archetypes so that I could understand the truth of who I am, and develop a stronger and deeper relationship with my higher self, and really entering into a higher timeline. Because even through all the turmoil, even through all the muck, even through all the pain and loss, the gems, the treasure that is underneath is it's so beautiful. Like, you know, we run away from pain, we run away from the shadows that really need to be looked at, and it does take a lot of courage and bravery. But when we do, when we look at our wounds, when we look at those dark spaces, we realize that there's just so much more to ourselves. There's so much more to the world. There's so much more to understand about other people. There's so much more compassion that we can have for others. And we get to almost see past versions of ourselves in other people. And so that ability to also help them, because of everything that we have learned and everything that we have done, to fully step in the shoes of this warrior, right? Like, you've probably heard me say, like, I love diving into the death and rebirth cycle. I am a Scorpio at heart, for those who believe in astrology. For those who don't, whether it's real or not, I don't know. My avatar is very much of I want to know, and I seek truth, and whatever it is that I need to do to get there, cancel clear, but bring it on, because this life really is worth living. I remember a couple years ago, I don't know who said it, but they were like, I want to be in my deathbed with broken bones and bruises and scars, knowing that I did everything that I could to have adventure and to experience my spirits in relationship to the 3D realm, in relationship to this body that we are given. And, that really brings me into the separation of our body and our spirit, and truly understanding the hierarchical order of how we can spiritually evolve, or how we can actually, there's what's that feeling I'm getting right now? Like it's so refreshing and relieving to realize, like, yes, we are our body and we are here in this world, and we drive in traffic, and I'm seeing trees and the sun shine through the windows, and I get to feel the hot hair well, my hot hair, sometimes it's frizzy, but the hot air on our skin, or that warm cup of coffee in the morning, or that kiss from a loved one at night before we go to bed. Like, that is such a beautiful experience. Yet we forget that our spirit, our heart, our perception, our minds, our ability to conceptualize and to feel and to express authenticity comes from our spirit. It comes from our hearts, and that is an energy that was here prior to our body being here. And when we die, we will bury our body, but our spirit will continue on. Maybe we choose to come back in another reincarnation, maybe we don't, depending on what you think. It is extremely important to remember that although certain things happen to the body, it didn't happen to you, it happened to your body. And that might sound controversial, that might sound aggravating, because of how easy it is for our brain to release like neurochemicals of stress, of cortisol, of dopamine, and everything that make us really feel like we are the body, but we're not. So it's our body that is getting circumcised. It's our body that gets molested. It's our body that goes through divorce. It's our body, you know what I mean? Like, it's our body that loses another thing physically. Yet spiritually, it is up to us on a spiritual level to create a beautiful place for our body to reside, right? And when we can take off the I am circumcised and say, my body was circumcised, but I wasn't circumcised. And it is up to me to understand my wholeness first, which is already whole in my spiritual magnitude, in my spiritual connection. Everything is already there. And thinking that when we create that separation and tie super into the body, that's where we can get really stuck. Because even in somatic practices, even in types of meditations, if we are not fully in that remembrance of who we are, it's still going to be really difficult, because that keeps us more in this victim role. And the victim is not going to help you. Perhaps maybe the victim is also an archetype that is preventing you from truly feeling and going into these wounds and doing the work. I do a lot of psychic types of modalities and healings with the men that I work with. And one of them specifically is called remote sensation. And it is through remote sensation that I actually am able, through my psychic abilities, to deeply connect with the men that I am working with in this specific process. And if there is a layer within their consciousness that is still addicted, that is still attached to victimhood, it will actually be a disservice to them, because they will subconsciously always choose the victim, opposed to this new layer, opposed to this new evolution, opposed to this new teaching and method that I am presenting for them to grasp, take on their own, and use so they can heal themselves. So if subconsciously I am if consciously I am choosing to focus on this microphone, but way back in the back of my mind, in my subconscious, all I can think about is my tea, I'm not going to actually be able to get myself to be on the right track, right? And in some weird level, that's the best way that I can put it. I don't even know if that even with an analogy that made sense, but you understand. I don't know if you've ever been looking at something, but you want to say something else, but you say the thing that you're looking at instead of what you're wanting to say. So that is just kind of an example of the importance of recognizing that we are in a spiritual warfare. Therefore, we have to heal spiritually. We have to remember our spirit. We have to connect to our higher self. We have to use our psychic abilities that we all have. Think about for a minute when we can talk about Ayurveda, plant medicine, herbalism, or the concept of an atom. All of these different sciences, all of these different healing modalities existed. How? The intuition, right? Our ability to use our connection grounded from the earth through our body and into the spiritual realm. And this information drops down into our consciousness and into our mind. So there are so many sciences that we use today that didn't have scientific backup for 5,000 years. So think about the ancients, think about our ancestors prior to all the indoctrination and this medical cults and everything that we learn at school, the history, the hiding of our ancient technology from the ether, from something much greater than us. And this is the force that they want to keep us from connecting to, hence why circumcision even exists. So it is my job to help you become just that before circumcision happens. Does that make sense? If circumcision is a technology to keep a man degraded, then he clearly has power. He clearly has a potential. So it is my job to help you tap into that potential that they are afraid of you having, because it is through that mechanism, it is through that connection that you can truly heal from circumcision trauma. Truly. We've been tricked, and we think that we don't have power to heal, power to connect with our psychic abilities, power to create bigger visions for ourselves, using the elements, using our body, using the earth, and this deep device that is so unbelievably infinite in knowledge and healing and information. And even saying it and sharing it like that just makes me so excited to know that I have the privilege, I have the honor to help men access this power that we have all forgotten, a power that can bring us together, a power that can help a man fully succeed in effective leadership, to experience and have clarity and groundedness in his vision, to connect to his soul assignment, because we're all not here by mistake. We're not that's just not we're not all of a sudden here, this time and space, this crazy world, and whatever it is that's happening right now. You're not just here to watch the news, to pay student debt, to get married, to have kids, and to die. And I don't say that to be condescending, maybe not condescending, not the word, to be disrespectful to marriage, which I think I have so much reverence for marriage, and I love children, and I'm not saying that, but there's a deeper, more profound energy. There's a deeper, more profound um, reason as to why you're here, and helping people get there is just like so unbelievable because I am there. I've gotten there, and I know what it feels like to wake up every day and to dedicate my life force into an assignment that is just so profound and so beautiful to me, and to be amongst men that are able to tap into this is dessert. It's like icing on a cake. And this actually may not even be in the realm of making sense. This may be unprofessional, but it's like the orgasm to life is to truly experience the ecstasy of seeing other humans prevail and other humans experience their power on a psychosomatic, on a psychological, on a physical, on a psychic, and just all of the levels that we can experience, and to alleviate men of this trauma. It's just it means everything to me. um yeah, I could just say that over and over again. So since all everything that I'm sharing with you, clearly there's been a lot of growth in my life. And I am so happy to have you here. And I'm so happy that you've been following. And I'm so happy to hear from you whenever you feel ready to have a conversation and go into this work. Um, the more that I have been connecting to my psychic abilities of being able to channel the Divine Mother for men, it has been, what's the word I'm thinking, um not exposed, it has been shown to me the other elements within circumcision that are also having a deep impact on the victim itself. And I'm just using the term victim loosely, just as a man who, or a boy or an infant who has been cut. And um, to see and witness what I experience and to be able to put everything together has been another layer of digesting, truly, of digesting these hits, of digesting what is coming. And I have a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, let me take that back. I've had some people that you know we get, again, super attached to the idea of our physical body and this thing that we have to have data to prove everything, but we don't. And to be able to help people come to that realization and to remember, just like our ancestors knew the power of our body in relationship to our spirit, is what's going to help us truly get the knowledge and information that we need. um so yeah, this is really what I have been up to as I have been evolving and learning everything that I've been learning and channeling all this wisdom. I've had to face parts of myself that are archetypes too. Like, yes, I have done a lot of healing. I have healed chronic asthma. I have healed my womb, any womb trauma, any sexual, social projection and repression, shame, embarrassment that I've had with my own genitalia. Like, I don't come to help men heal from a place of not having my own level of ownership in my life. Every moment is an opportunity for me to look at what needs to be looked at. And the deeper that I have gone on this path, or the more that I have walked it, the more I've recognized there's parts of me too that are still holding me back, that still make me feel small. And, I was on a call recently, one of my last circumcision community calls, and I have had some men say, you're not a man. What do you know? Like, you have absolutely no idea the rage. You have no idea what it's like to have this. And I don't, but like, I am simply a vessel, and I am channeling this divine mother for you to help you heal. And also, because I've allowed myself to be open and available for this type of channeling, I have also done a lot of my own healing work as well. Like, I've had to look deep in the mirror. I've had to cry and crumble. I've had to face and touch parts of myself that I've been terrified of since conception. Like, I came into this world actually not wanting to have children, and I've just really never known why. But even as a little girl, I remember I'd tell my mom, or ask her, hey, what do I need to do to not have children? I don't want them. I was terrified of the birthing experience, terrified of my own body, because, we have been conditioned that pregnancy is a burden, and it's a burden to the body, and women have to carry the burden and the pain. And that was an archetype, that was a message, a narrative that I was holding on to, that was keeping me from really tapping into and feeling and being closer to my femininity and my pussy energy, actually, like that. Because, if you can control the womb, you can control humanity, and then control her, have a baby, have one of the most pivotal parts of not humanity, but our community. Well, humanity too, but on a lower scale, our community, which is the protector, which is the masculine. So disconnect her, disconnect him. And it's all through the genitalia. Like, sure, there's the Bible, but the Bible also is attacking the genitalia. Like, it's almost like I'm thinking in this moment right now, what's not attacking our genitalia? Like, on some level, the infertility crisis right now is beyond, right? Sperm counts are down like crazy. What do they say? What is it, in like 2050, there won't really even be any healthy sperm or any fertile men anymore? Like, that's it. Like, genitalia is the way that you break humanity. It's the way that you degrade the human being, because we are creating, and we're creating more human beings. So to not capitalize on, but to take advantage of, and to limit humanity, you start with the genitals. And I have also got kind of, sorry, I have this really weird itch on my nose, like, won't stop. And yeah, I've had to do my own healing with my pussy and my relationship with my womb. And I am still unsure whether I will be having children, honestly. I've never had a man that has activated that within me. I mean, think about my role in this life right now, helping all these babies and helping all these men as a divine mother. I feel like I have plenty of children, truly. And I don't know if that will happen for me, but I know that my body is ready for it if it does. I know that I would fully embrace free birth. I would fully embrace, a holistic way of bringing a child, of bringing an ascended soul into earth, onto earth. So, yeah. Um, I guess today might just be a little short. I just wanted to say hi and come on and just let you know how much I care. Although I'm sure it's pretty obvious how much I care, and I am growing, and I know you are too. And I deeply hope that there is a day, if we haven't met, that we get to, because I would love to meet you, and I would love to help steward your healing, and to help you remember your brilliance, to be happy, to call in beautiful relationships with women that are also healed, and to experience joy and bliss for longer periods of time than you do right now. Anything that I can do to help each of you tap deeper into this remembrance is going to lead the both of us and the people that get to meet us into evolution. It is through this healing that we do together that creates a ripple in the field where we become the change, where we become the ancestors who put a stop to circumcision. And that is so beautiful. That is such a beautiful story to live. So, I cry over circumcision all the time. This isn't like, and I think the more I really allow myself to step into these shoes of being this mother, the tears come a lot more. You would think it was more of a beginning thing, but they come all the time because of the deep passion and the deep love that I have for us moving into a new world for our children and for the sake of human beings on this earth. So thank you for stopping by. I will keep you updated. If you would like to schedule a call with me, you can find that. I'll actually put the link at the bottom of this episode. It's alchemizewithjenna.com. It's a little funnel. You'll see a video, and then it will lead you to a Zoom call with me that I host on Wednesdays, where I will share the 9 psychic and psychological ingredients that any man can use to alchemize himself, alchemize his life, and manifest a life of absolute happiness and effective leadership. And the 9 ingredients are unbelievable. And they're designed specifically just for men. So the psychic abilities and the psychic energies in relationship to the elements and masculine energy, obviously, it's on a different seat in the polarity realm, right? The feminine and the masculine. So it's geared specifically for the divine masculine and his energies to be sure that he can source everything that brings more potential in him. Every like the sun, for example, we do some stuff with the sun, and the sun is solar and the sun is the masculine, right? You think the moon is going to be more feminine. So everything is threaded through these really beautiful ancient pieces of wisdom that are all supportive to the masculine. And I don't want you to need me again. Sure, like we can have some fun and you can watch me as I continue to move down this path. But I'm tired of men throwing money at programs and doing this and doing that and nothing working. And I can guarantee that working with me will help you be done. So you can focus on your assignment. You can focus on your life. You can focus on what you want to create. You can focus on feeling whole, not needing anything from anybody because of their self-sufficiency, because of the self-love and the self-acceptance and the clarity and the spiritual experience of understanding your emotions from that divine perspective that we will be activating in the program. So come see me. If you have any requests for any other type of content, I'm kind of in the middle of some podcasts right now. 2 weeks ago, I was on Dr. Kelly Brogan's podcast, and that was so unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I've looked up to her for over 5 years, for almost 6 years now, and she's a powerful force to be reckoned with. She was actually named one of the misinformation dozen during the schmovid times, where she was talking a lot about the clot shot and other types of shots that are harming us and what they can create. And her she was indoctrinated. Actually, she had circumcised kids and was so shut off from her own body, from her own knowing, due to these indoctrination camps, due to the brainwashing, due to the dissociation, the disembodiment of the feminine that I was talking about earlier, right? Like, we have our own stuff too. And her story is great. I was just between us. I'm, like I said earlier, like, I'm really working on how to share and spread and be the light, opposed to just attacking because I can do that. And I hate some of these people. Don't tell anybody. But like, some of the people that are obviously doing this, but I have to remember and hold that compassion. And so as I'm working through this, that I'm turning and I'm like molding into a new woman, as I'm trying to channel at the same time and remember all this information, and be sure I'm speaking from my heart, but I'm also like on video being recorded, ask questions from like one of like the women in my life that I've always really looked up to, which is Dr. Kelly fucking Brogan. So I wonder if it was a little clunky, but a lot of you would probably say usually I can show up really well. At least that's what everyone always says. And that makes me feel good, because I'm dyslexic. And so I can trip over my words and my mind before I speak. And yeah, so I really hope that I delivered a profound, insightful education, and it really is able to spread deeply into her audience. And she's got 250,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm not really sure how many women listen to her podcast, but it's pretty big. So anyway, long story short, all these things are, starting to come together, and I'm evolving, and you're going to be seeing a lot more coming up as things open and things evolve, because people find me and they get really excited about it, just like maybe you did, and just like I did, although that was really scary. But I love you, and I hope you're well. Connect with me if you do have any person that maybe you want to see on the channel. I don't really call it a podcast, but maybe it's time I can call my YouTube channel a podcast. Maybe I need to look into that. But any suggestions, or if there's anything that you want to know that I can come back on and share, just consider me your friend. So sending you love, and until next time.